Here's the one thing. The president is hoping you pay attention to the beer summit, which we're not going to anymore. He wants you to pay attention because his poll numbers are tanking. Remember, never waste a crisis. When you're faced with a faltering domestic agenda and eroding overall support, well, time for a little healing over some beers, my friends. Here's the bad news for Obama. Only 23% now believe health care costs will go down if his health care plan passes. How does that work out? 53% expect that health care prices will rise. 50% expect the quality of care to decline. The president's approval ratings, according to Gallup, and that's one of the shining examples, has dropped 8 points in the last month alone. So yes, the president is very happy to see the media diligently investigating. Is it Bud Light? I hope it is. What does that say about the man? Perhaps support for the 1,000-plus pages health care bill is eroding because people are beginning to, look into some of the things buried deep within. Stuff like, I hate to even bring it up, it's so unimportant. Section 440 of the House bill that reads, and I quote, home visitation programs for families with young children and families expecting children would provide grants to states to establish home visitation programs to educate parents on child behavior and parenting skills. Oh, well, gee, I hope it's a well-trained and competent staff. And, oh my gosh, here it is in Section 440. It's going to be a well-trained and competent staff coming to your house. They're going to provide parents with knowledge of age-appropriate child development in cognitive, language, social, emotional, and motor domains. Modeling. I don't know if that's a modeling agency I don't know. Consulting and coaching on parenting practices. Skills to interact with their child to enhance age-appropriate development. Oh, it's going to be like Christmas year-round. Oh, but Glenn, please, that's crazy talk. It's completely voluntary. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure it's going to stay that way, too. It'll be voluntary until we have too many little fat fatties in our grade school who are going to increase the cost of our health care. Then I don't want to come in your house, but I don't have a choice. I wouldn't want to send the fat police to the fat fatties and the fat fatty parents, but I have to because you're hurting the collective, the greater good. It's completely voluntary. Oh, yeah, totally random. If you want it, you got it, unless, there happens to be a specific problem area that we just need to target, like the one identified on page 840 of the bill. The state shall identify and prioritize serving communities that are in high need of such services, especially communities with a high proportion of low-income families or a high incident of child maltreatment. Wow, this doesn't scare me at all. No, that's just the crazy people. Like Winston Smith, the main character from 1984. I was just looking this up today. I mean, let me just give this one part. This is where they're torturing him and stuff. And they're like, what's 2 + 2? And he's like, 4. And they're like, no, it's 5. And, he was crazy. Anyway, on page 277, it said he could not fight against the party any longer. Besides, the party was in the right. It must be so. How could the immortal collective brain be mistaken? By what external standard could you check its judgments? Sanity was statistical. It was merely a question of learning to think as they thought. Only then the pencil felt thick and awkward in his fingers. He began to write down the thoughts that came to his head. Freedom is slavery. Then almost without pause, he wrote beneath it, 2 and 2 make 5. You see, in the book, Winston's no longer insane. Isn't that great? America, when did we become a nation? I mean, we used to believe in hard work and picking yourself up by the bootstraps and get the government out of my life. Now we're a nation that wants government to control everything from our light bulbs to now, not in our bedroom, but in our homes, teaching us how to parent our children. This bill must be stopped in any form. If there are any Republicans supporting this thing, don't you ever forget their names. If they don't get it now, and they don't get it in Washington, they aren't ever going to get it. They're either out of their mind minds, or they're part of the problem. Either way, they are the ones who are insane, not those who still know and still will shout from the mountaintops 2 + 2 = 4.